What's going on? This is David Whitney with Alpha Hawk Fitness. All right, and today we're talking about weight loss, and I just really want to simplify this for you, make it really easy to understand because a lot of people overcomplicate it. And once we understand the principles, it's easy to apply these principles and see the results we want. Now, I'm not saying the process of losing weight is simple because the process can be difficult, but it's a lot easier when we understand the simple principle of energy balance. You see, a lot of people think there's certain foods that are bad foods that we have to avoid that cause us to gain weight, and there's certain good foods that will help us on our weight loss journey. But the truth is, all foods contain calories. And if you're overeating and in a caloric surplus eating healthy food, you will not lose weight. And likewise, if you're in a caloric deficit, you can eat the foods you like and you will still lose weight. And that's what I'm talking about when I say energy balance. Now, let me take the time to briefly explain what energy balance is. You see, our bodies require energy to perform any type of task. Even when you're sleeping, your body requires energy to pump blood and for you to breathe and for the other processes that are going on in your body. This energy comes from calories. Now, when we get up, we use more energy. We walk, everything we do, all our activities require calories. The calories come from the food that we consume. Now, here's what happens. When we run out of calories from the food that we consume, that's when our bodies tap into stored fat and use that for energy. So let me explain this here. Like I said, all foods contain calories. Now, it's true that some foods are a lot easier to overeat on. Foods that have that cause reward signals in our brains. Things like sweets, sugar, salty foods. These foods stimulate responses in our brains that tell us to keep eating. So it is easier to overeat on these foods. Whereas there's a lot of healthy foods that are bland and that contain a lot of fiber, so they're filling. They're hard to overeat on because they're bland. These foods also a lot of times contain a lot of nutrients, so they're considered healthy for us. But the thing is, we can overeat on these foods and we will be in a caloric surplus. A caloric surplus happens when we consume more calories than our bodies need for our daily activities. And when we have more calories in our body than we use for energy, we store those calories as fat to be used later. Just think of it like a car. You put gas in your car and you drive. If you run out of gas, your car stops. Well, with our bodies, the fuel we put in is the food. But when we run out of gas, our bodies don't stop. Instead, they start tapping into the reserves, and that's the fat. And this is how we lose weight. So, how do we accomplish this? How do we get into a caloric deficit? Well, there's two ways you can do it. One is by decreasing the amount of calories you consume, or two, by increasing the amount of calories your body uses. That's by doing more things and by exercising. The best way to do it is a combination of both. But in order of importance, the diet always comes first. That's because of two reasons. One, it's a lot easier to subtract calories out than it is to increase your energy. Just think of it like this. It'll take you about 40 minutes, give or take, of exercising to burn about 300 calories. One 16-ounce glass of soda, milk, or juice contains about 300 calories. Think about how much easier it is to just not drink one glass of juice or replace that glass of juice with a glass of water than it is for you to drive all the way to the gym, get changed in the locker room, go get on the machine for 40 minutes, sweat up, burn up all these calories. 40 minutes, you only burn about 300 calories. Even if the digital readout tells you burn 400, what you need to consider is your body already burns energy if you didn't go to the gym. So you probably could have burnt about 100 calories already in an hour. So if you do, let's say you burn 400 calories on the treadmill, you got to consider the fact that you already were going to be burning energy if you didn't go to the gym. So we're trying to add more energy output. We're trying to increase the calories we use. You got to factor in, you also already been burning up calories if you weren't doing that exercise. So when it says 400, it's not 400 extra calories that you added to your daily expenditure. It's more like 330 if it was 40 minutes. So like I said, it's a lot easier to just subtract calories out of our diet than it is to increase our energy expenditure. The second reason that diet is more important than exercise is because after we exercise, there's a really good chance our appetites are going to increase and we're going to want to eat more because we did more activity that day. We're going to have a bigger appetite. So if your diet isn't in check, it's very easy to leave the gym after working out for an hour and go eat more. And you're going to feel like you deserved it. And if you're eating healthy, you're going to say, hey, what's the problem with having a couple of extra handfuls of almonds? But what you're not realizing is you didn't check the calorie content on those almonds. Almonds actually are very calorically dense. You see, that's why I'm saying it's not about healthy foods versus unhealthy foods. It's about calories in versus calories out. Now, there's two ways we can get our diets in check. I know there's a million diets out there. There's Paleo, where we eat like our ancestors are supposed to have ate. Veganism, where you avoid all types of animal products. Keto, where you don't eat zero carbs at all. Listen, these diets, some of them are like the complete opposite of each other. But why is it that people on both sides of the spectrum are both seeing results? Because it's not about magical foods that you can or can't eat. It's because when you subtract food out of your diet, you subtract calories out of your diet. It all comes down to being in a caloric deficit. Now, there's two ways we could accomplish this with our diets. One is the way I recommend. My favorite way, to me, it makes dieting almost effortless because I can eat all the foods I still enjoy, and that's called flexible dieting. But the only problem with this way of dieting, to me, it's not a problem, but it's a problem for a lot of people. You need to track calories. And I know a lot of people are scared to track calories. They think it would be too much of a hassle. Listen, let me just ask you this. When you eat your food, is it too much of a hassle for you to play on your phone for a few minutes? I know most of us do that anyway. Well, that's all it takes to track calories. If you're eating some chicken and some rice, you just go on your phone and Google real quick, how many calories in chicken breasts? And the information comes right up. If you have a scale, you could just put your chicken breast on a scale. You see the weight. 4 ounces of chicken breast have 110 calories. I go into the notes section of my phone and I write down 110 calories. And that's how you track your calories. And this way, I get to eat the foods I love. If I want to have a chocolate bar, guess what? I have a chocolate bar. Because all I do is I just look at the calories on it. One Hershey bar, I Google it. 217 calories. Okay, no problem. I just write that down in the notes and add it to what I already ate that day. As long as at the end of the day I'm in a caloric deficit, guess what's gonna happen? My body's not gonna say, whoa, you had chocolate. No, my body's gonna say, we don't have enough energy to accomplish a task we need to accomplish. So now we're gonna go tap into those fat stores and burn those for energy. So it doesn't matter what you eat. It's all about how much you eat. But here's the thing. If you're not counting calories, you're gonna have to stay away from these foods. So if counting calories isn't for you, that's fine. But here's the thing, the type of dieting you're gonna have to do is more of what is referred to as clean eating. Because like I said before, there's a lot of healthy foods, so-called healthy foods, that are kind of bland and they have a lot of fiber and they're hard to overeat on. So for a person who doesn't want to count calories, what you're gonna need to do is stick to these so-called clean foods. Now for breakfast, you're gonna wanna have things like oatmeal, boiled eggs, whole wheat toast, fruit. As far as flavoring your oatmeal, you're gonna wanna just do it with fruit. Like say you could put a scoop of frozen fruit. Or you could also have something like a Splenda. 0-calorie sweeteners are fine. I know a lot of people say, whoa, what are you talking about? That's blasphemy for fitness and health. Sweeteners are horrible. Listen, sweeteners that contain 0 calories give your body 0 energy to store. You are gonna, you're not, it's impossible for you to gain weight eating 0-calorie sweeteners. So if you wanna lose weight, sweeteners are fine. Okay, now as far as the other foods for the rest of the day, lunch and dinner, you're gonna want things like chicken breast. Chicken breast is very hard to overeat on. It's very nutrient dense. It's very lean. It doesn't have a lot of fat. You're gonna want to stay away from fats like butter. See, that's the thing too. Vegetables, you could eat them as much as you want. They're packed with fiber and nutrients. It's going to be very hard to overeat on them. But if you're putting a serving of butter on top of your vegetables, guess what? You more than doubled the calories. Butter, one serving of butter has about 110 calories. One serving of vegetables is about 70 calories. So just think about that. Plus, the butter is going to give you that reward signal that we talked about in your brain. That salty flavor of the butter is going to make you eat more, and you're going to be able to overeat on something that you wouldn't have been able to overeat on, like vegetables. So you're going to want to stick to things like chicken breast, white fish, potatoes. Now, I know a lot of people say only sweet potatoes, but actually it's been shown that it's just as hard to overeat on white potatoes as it is sweet potatoes. So potatoes, white or sweet, it's just that sweet potatoes do have more nutrients than white potatoes. But when it comes to filling you up and losing weight, white potatoes are just as good as sweet potatoes. So like we said, chicken breast, white fish, lean meats, vegetables, fruits. Now, fruits and vegetables are totally different because vegetables have a lot less calories and more fiber than fruit. But fruit is also good for you, and it's also, you just want to be a little more sparing with it than you are with the vegetables. So fruits, vegetables, white fish, lean meats, turkey, lean beef is fine. Chicken breast, you're going to want to avoid the fattier meats like chicken thighs. But here's the thing, like I said, it all comes down to energy deficit. If you are eating less calories than your body is using for energy, you're going to tap into fat and use that for energy. And that's how you lose weight. And if you add in exercise, that's going to increase the amount of calories your body burns throughout the day, and it's going to make it even easier. All right, listen, if you're interested in flexible dieting, you're going to have to know how many calories your body burns a day, and then you're going to have to figure out how many calories you should eat in order to lose the amount of fat you want to lose. So what I'm about to do right now is make another video on how to adjust your calories to be in a caloric deficit. I will link that in the description below. All right, guys, if this video's been informative, do me a favor, like and subscribe. I got a real small channel, but I'm trying to put out some good information for you guys. So if you like it, help me make this channel grow. All right, until next time.